1 for next week
Oh
on
my God.
Monday. No way.
That's a surreal number.
That's wild.
Regardless, Zomba is still the first seed as of like respect to the overall record. He is still very positive across the board, but there's something about watching a win in the fashion that Syrup got it that can really change some things. Where like past record to a certain point doesn't matter. You have to then look to like at X date and beyond, and hopefully for Syrup it becomes a like at Fusion 200 and on. He had Zomba's number, but it's hard to have Zomba's number.
It really is, and I feel like whenever you have his number, he just changes his phone line immediately, right? So it's like it's one of those things where it's like you want to adapt to this guy, but he just knows how to, you know, mix you up. And right now, it's looking like Syrup's in the hot seat. Of course, off stage, not really too much. Zomba getting this up air, really good. Punishing, gets another back air. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to retract what I said.
Yeah, placing a block to avoid landing and stalling your landing is super tough. And then that 7-frame active down air on top of the beauty that is that back air. Steve, if anything you can call Steve, he's a character that takes his time in most of these instances. Damage racks up fast, but he moves and operates rather slowly, which gives you plenty of time to line up moves like Zomba's back air.
Yeah, it's weird that you said, it's so crazy, right, that you said that Steve tends to be like a little bit slow, either that or Rob. Both these guys can play high octane, so it's very nice to see both of them, you know, play towards the meta, know that what they're doing works, and they will not stop doing that. You know what works? Minecart.
It's pretty strong. I've heard it's pretty good.
I've heard a lot of people rage from that, but speaking of another side be that strong, Red Alarm.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one too. Like if there's ways to get to the ability to do your good moves, typically that's a pretty good thing you want to do. Like that forward air and jab. It seems like from setting up just from some normal pick loops, a combo that typically you see Steve players try to avoid is turned out big.
Yeah, it's looking very difficult for Syrup because he's put himself in a position where he can't mine or get. Oh my God! Oh, he looked for the up smash. I was kind of wondering why he didn't go for the up smash out of the parry, but maybe it just wouldn't have hit.
It looked like it was a little bit too swift in terms of the conversion as well. So maybe the up smash out of the parry was the option, or just letting it rip immediately. Either way, this is a Steve with no materials. Letting rip another up smash, doesn't get punished for it, but no iron nor to threaten anything. We were just up smashing because we have nothing to properly threaten and get Zomba off the spot so you have time to mine.
Yeah.
Instead, Zomba takes game 1.
And I mentioned it before, how Syrup put himself in that position where he can't mine. He put up an entire wall and chose to go over it next to Zomba. So I feel like maybe it was just a feint potentially, but I mean, if I'm Syrup in that position, right, I'm just going to try and mine to get as much iron as possible to then go back on the center stage. But Zomba making sure that he managed Syrup's materials for him. And so shifted that to his game, to game number 1. Now we're on to game number 2, on to PS2. And this is a nice stage pick. I like it because it's a bigger stage.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a bigger stage. It's honestly surprising that Hollow Bastion was the pick, given Zomba having a pretty solid history on that stage. Regardless, you get your opening damage off pretty well and even convert off of the landing. That's instant 91. This is how you want to start the game. Just that laser bounced.
He was like, no, I'm still hitting you. It's like Yamcha's like one ball, he's just like,
yeah, the spirit ball, yeah.
Spirit ball. All right, let's see what Syrup can do. Yeah, he's trying to set up camp, but again, Zomba's just in his face every single time while he has a gyro in his hand. Can't really go for a lot of, those moves that are very quick, very safe, honestly, on shield and apply so much pressure.
He's just not giving him the time. The spot dodge comes out. Rough. Maybe anticipating a bounce off of the block upwards to get into the up smash, but Zomba hitting that tech, like just great self-awareness. This will be an up smash.
Yeah, you just have to wait for that to happen. I mean, like, if you're Zomba, right, you have no other choice but to just get hit by that up smash. Or maybe Syrup whips, but he's not going to do that, especially in that position with so much at stake.
The only hope there is like you gamble that Syrup thinks you're going to fall off the stage and goes for a back air instead. But Syrup is not missing any of these minecart punishes. Instant 60, and suddenly Syrup's in the lead percentage-wise. But it's so close that it gets really tough in order to decide a victor just purely off of a 30% difference.
Right. That's what I was talking about earlier, right? How iron, while can be a very, very good tool for side Bs and even anvils, it's a very nice wall to have because not a lot of moves can break it quickly. Yeah. Oh. All right.
Unable to refresh his tools. Maybe got off in time, but that up tilt into up air is going to make sure his tools do get refreshed by removing them completely along with that stock. Gets 3 iron back, has plenty of gold in order for those irons, for those to be powered up minecarts. But man, this has been. You almost want Zomba to survive on this stock a little bit, so you force long recoveries and a lot of knockback, and give yourself time to refresh that material bar.
Woo!
And then once you have, you're able to get your diamonds. Suddenly you've got a ton of gold, plenty of stone.
You're set.
Yeah, keeping the stock alive. To Syrup's benefit there in the latter half of game number 2. Very much needing this game and not letting Zomba just feel like he can do whatever he wants.
Right. But in certain moments, it feels like he can. Right now, he can't. He is stuck in this potential, you know, infinite loophole of just, hey, I just have to accept that I'm a big body character against a guy who can combo me to death. So it's like Zomba has to just respect that. And he has been. That's how he gets out of those combos, as well as find opportunities to get a forward air, a nair even, to be able to punish Syrup, who's really going deep for this. I'm very surprised. He's using his blocks, of course, but nonetheless, not opting to mind.
He has blocks to burn at the very least, on top of those iron blocks, which are a little bit harder to remove. Risky, and the anvil missed.
Oh, and the blocks coming in clutch for Syrup because of the air dodge.
He isn't able to catch up in time. Instead has to read, and reads the jump, the forward air chase down. Comes in clutch there for Syrup, taking game number 2 in a little bit of a messy fashion. Got a little scrappy, but honestly, because of the way that Steve is built as a character, he can succeed in the long, slow game thanks to his resources, and he can exceed in the short, quick game thanks to empowered tools and grossly good frame data.
And it's crazy, right? Because Steve doesn't really need those tools to be able to dish out that much damage. What does the trick?
It really does. It really does.
It doesn't matter, but of course, you know, having that extra oomph behind, you know, all your hits will definitely help. But we're going back to Hollow Bash, the stage that Zomba won on. And I mean, if you're Zomba, right, coming off of that game, well, that was nice.
Just hard read. Like, you're gonna run up and shield and try to like nair out a shield. I'm grabbing you. Like, come here.
No,
this is the reward that is so scary. Triple block with that anticipated SDI. I'm not sure if all of those were nils, but all of them followed SDI. And then you convert off of that too. So many blocks being placed. The TNT there to cover roll.
And the up smash to cover that landing. There's not going to beat that.
I'm floored. That was so well played.
Oh, that was so good. All right, let's say he had a wall up and was like, yeah, I'm gonna add on to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna use the wall. That's, you know, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes, which everyone should do, by the way.
It's a common habit, and it's a good habit to be in for winning games and protecting the environment.
Yep, and the up air gonna be the move that we're gonna see kill a lot. Of course, you know, Syrup trying to land, or rather, you know, be popped up a lot. So up air is gonna be the move to go for if you're Zomba. We saw it earlier, right, against, I believe it was Jackal, that vertical advantage that R.O.B has is so important. Still alive right now, but I don't know how long you have the stock for.
Oh, the fall through the platform to get a small punish. Not bad on the part of Zomba here, but he needs this ledge scenario to matter a ton, and that's definitely something that would hit different if that down air connected. No dice thus far. Yet 2 blocks of iron left on the part of this Steve. Or 1 now. Burning 1 just to get back to center stage. Not a bad thing at all, but you need time to mine. Does so successfully off the side of that middle circle. The middle circle, you get an iron loop. the everywhere else on the stage, you get a stone loop. So you're trying to get stone blocks here, it feels like, if you're Syrup.
Oh my God!
Bounced off one of those stone blocks, Jellyfish. Again, finding a big conversion, and that's going to seal Zomba in the lead here in game number 2, despite such a, game number 3, excuse me, despite such a great start from Syrup.
Yeah.
Oh, he missed the double toss.
Yeah, high key, the Rutgers needed that alley-oop, that backboard shot if we wanted to survive in the NCAA. But nonetheless, right now, I mean, Syrup, while had the advantage, still is in that advantageous state right now against Zomba. Gets the up air out of that block. Of course, I think he was just going for up tilts and was very nice to get that up air. Both these guys are just going back and forth, and it's only a matter of time before one of these guys finds one confirm, and then it's lights out. It is Hollow Bastion. So you gotta be wary of how early these guys will die.
And covering the roll in with that anvil. Wow! Peppered with 2 diamond up tilts, and that's all he needed to shield poke and convert into a back air. The second back air triggering early, something that Jackal found a lot of success in, but wasn't able to turn the corner and take it home, was pressuring Zomba early in mid-air and not letting a burner boosted Nair come down and be potentially plus on block, especially with something like Gyro in hand to throw an even further wrench into that work. As we saw Zomba coming down, having the opportunity to put out an aerial with a Gyro in hand, that's typically a really strong, almost even win condition for R.O.B. And Syrup just said, no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not holding your mix-up. I'm just hitting you.
You can hold it, and you can hold this pickaxe to your face.
Here, hold this.
But we're going to go into game 4 with the advantage. We're going to Smashville. Huh.
Change up in stage. So Zomba had a lot of success on stages like this, but in the sense it was Hollow Bastion, where you had the extra space to work around Steve if needed. Syrup has since adapted to that very hard, as we saw in the previous game. So maybe try something different, similar but different, a little bit of a shake-up. You have some different options on Smashville. Maybe it gives you an opportunity, or maybe you're just gone. You make it back. You lose all your iron and a chunk of your raw materials, but now you're just beating. Now you're just beating them up.
Bro, it's just getting punched. But this is the thing that like really makes me, you know, kind of answer my question as to why Zomba chose Smashville, because now you're using your axe, right, to mine your tools. So
I just can't go.
So up tilt tends not to be. I mean, it works still, right? But even so, it's like a bit risky when you lose your axe to go for all these NILs.
All these block placements are so good. Running under that block, trying to feint Zomba up a little bit. Zomba not out of it. Like, despite the early start from Syrup being so good and that Anvil barely not closing out the stock, Zomba is not out of it. But he does need to close out the stock, and he does need to reach into his pockets for a dimension that normally he doesn't try to mess with. Zomba, much more known as the advantage state R.O.B, the neutral monster that's able to whittle down resources and find big wins because of it. He needs to start reaching into that like combo state R.O.B, the double tosses, the arm rotors, that essence that R.O.B can pull from, or else this snowball is just going to keep rolling downhill.
And it doesn't help that Syrup now has those gold tools, which, you know, allow for Syrup to throw out these moves much quicker. So, you know, all these combos aren't going to be very huge. But that right hook from Zomba, we're playing a little bit of boxing right now against Syrup, to find that stock, still possible. Does have a lot of rage. Whether or not he can use it, though, is completely up to if he can find an opening right now. Could not land and get that Z-drop Nair off.
Just this Nair out of shield there from Syrup. Looking to welcome to the nature of Steve grab. It functions like an arc and can sometimes go down a little bit, and you just got fished.
Isabella looking kind of a little bit different right now.
You know, Isabella looking a little bit power crept. Dropped an anvil from that high up. Zomba forced to respect it, converting.
Oh my. Oh, he's
even did PBR bear. Oh, and you're dead. Oh, you're not dead. Characters of lighter weight die there for certain. Swinging. R.O.B is so big that a high up a forward smash like that still connects, covering. Man, Syrup is just all in his face, threatening these diamond tools, shifting into a different gear, but the DI was a little bit off, allowing Zomba to take that stock and not be in a dire position. 88% getting mopped up almost instantly with a 30% Robo Beam into a gyro combo. But that's going to seal the fate.
Yep, and
just had to make sure. Sometimes the mash out can be a little bit crazy, but when you get caught by minecart at that high percent, yeah, that's a GG's.
And it really is a GG's. And Syrup was just honestly flawless. I feel like there was nothing he did wrong, really. It was just, and Zomba really didn't do anything wrong either. It was just a lot of Syrup pushing his advantage onto Zomba so much. Like I said, it doesn't help that R.O.B is a big body character, susceptible to all these combos. But even so, it's like, you know, ideas where Hollow Bastion, where, you know, the center circle has iron, outside of that has stone. So it's like, you know, there's so much to think about. And I feel like Syrup was just able to set up camp, get his blocks up, and force Zomba to approach in a much more unorthodox way, in a way that he didn't like it, where he was uncomfortable and got so many kills off of it.
Yeah, just constantly throwing Zomba new looks and different shades of what Steve can do at different moments. It's what makes some of the basic stuff like, oh, don't get caught by minecart, really, really hard, because you're worried about a million other things.
Right.
But with Syrup sitting in grand finals now as our winners side representative of the bracket, our path is now complete.
Yes.
We will have loser semis, which will be WebJP and Marvale.
Yes.
The winner of that will play Zomba. The winner of that will play Syrup. The winner of that wins the Scarlet Classic 9.
Yeah, and I feel like Zomba is going to be the guy that wants this run back so bad against Syrup, because he's just that kind of guy, right? He has that mentality of, I'm better than you, but sometimes, you know, in these situations where Syrup is just in a a lot better positioning than Zomba, right? You can't win it all sometimes. But I know Zomba, he is going to come back. He's going to try and fight for this title. And Syrup, of course, you know, trying to defend his hometown, not hometown, but home of New Jersey against an invader like Zomba, which is
insane that he was that deep and was able to make it back. Just
character's busted.
Character is egregiously broken.
All right, so when are we going to learn this character, right?
No, it's not for me.
Nah, me neither. I don't want to stoop down to that level just yet.
And it's not like I can respect, like, if you're going to try and win, picking the best character makes sense. Like, I'm not going to stop people from playing Luke or Steve or Dragunov, or, you know, like, if they are the best character in the game and you want to win at the video game,